Welcome to a short and maybe messy bonus episode of
RyCanTopMyKnee.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
So, we're here for another review of this show.
As we should. I'm Jonathan.
As we should. I'm Kevin. Thank you for tuning in.
Welcome back.
Once again. Welcome back. If you have not seen our other two reviews, you need to go back to that. Ooh, not see. Listen. Listen to. Because you're not seeing, you're listening. Okay.
Or you can see the beautiful artwork I made for the show. Yeah, something.
You can. I mean, Jonathan's artwork is top notch. Like, it is top tier.
I try my best.
Yes. So, anywho, we are going to review episode 3 or recap episode 3 of Love in the Big City. If you don't know, now you know. We will have a ton of spoilers. So, if you have not seen the show, get into it because it's a show that you need to watch. Okay,
it's too good.
Too good. There'll be spoilers all over this. Okay, so many spoilers that your stomach will be upset and you will vomit. Okay,
oh my god.
So if you have not seen this, you need to go ahead and see it. Okay.
Okay.
So let's get into it.
I can't. Like, episode 2 ended so, like, it like had nothing to lean into for episode 3, you know?
Right.
Because we ended on that wedding and we ended on Go-yeon just, like, at home with the blueberry in his apartment, right?
Yeah. And, you know, low-key grieving because he lost an opportunity because he realized he was too much of a coward, you know. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, this guy who was willing to give him all his love, you know, ended up passing away suddenly. And what could have been, you know, it was too late. But I think now we've kind of moved forward a bit.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying to better himself already. He started out with him, like, jogging in the park. And I was like, okay, healthy.
Okay, fitness. We love it. Right? We love to see it. And as he's jogging and kind of, you know, trying to cruise, so he's still got a little hoe in
I know.
him.
I was like, of course, you can never stop the hoe in you. He's already, you know, the lingering eyes.
And that he was looking at that other dude who was flexing and stretching a little too long. It's like, neither one of y'all need to be stretching.
Right. I was like, this is so obvious. Y'all are just like eye fucking each other here. Like,
it's like, come on, go find a tree and stretch other things behind the tree.
It's broad daylight. It's broad daylight.
So some people, that's their kink. Anywho, he gets a call from his mama, and she tells him that she has cancer. And she's pretty, like, chill about it as if, like, she won the lottery or something.
Right? It's like any other day.
Yeah, she wasn't chill. She was excited.
She was like, hey, guess what?
I got cancer. Oh, my goodness. Can you believe it? It's like winning the lottery. You know, oh, my goodness. This insurance going to cover everything.
I was like,
she was excited. Who is excited to get cancer? Like, are you okay?
She's a little... Well, we get to know a lot about her in this episode, which is very interesting.
Yes, we do. Which gives us a lot of insight to Go Young and, you know, because how you were raised really kind of determines how you are as an adult, right? So now it gives us more context to some of his decisions later on, right? So she goes we find out it's uterine cancer. And she goes ahead, she has the surgery, and I think they remove her uterus.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess because she already had kids and she's like probably in her 50s. Like,
she looked good though. She looked good for her age.
She did, you know, I mean,
she's only had, like, you know what? Go Young, I think. She's only had one kid.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's in his, right now, probably late 20s? Not late 20s, like mid 20s, like 24, maybe 25.
Yeah, I think this is just after college, yeah.
Yeah. So,
But I love how when she's on the like operating table and they're about to like put her under anesthesia, she's like, no, 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 I want to feel it. I want to feel everything, just like Jesus did.
she says she wants to feel it like Jesus
I was
did.
like, what, girl? I was like, oh, so she's hyper religious too. I see. She's one of those Koreans.
She's a whole mess, like on so many levels.
The doctor's like, ma'am, 3, 2, 1.
And knockout, like, sis, they are not gonna be cutting you open
raw
while you
like
wide
that.
awake. That'll even make
That's
any
wild.
sense. So then we see that Go Young is pretty much taking care of her while she's at the hospital, you know, visiting her, checking in on her, trying to, you know, and you know, I have a little personal story to kind of go with this because I would not say my mom is like Go Young's mom, but they have some similar things where they're both pretty Christian, except my mom is not extra like this lady is. This lady is something. But
she's so
similarly, my mom does the most around doctors, you know, so I'm really more of going, if I go with her to the hospital or something, I'm going not necessarily for her, like, yes, for moral support, but also mainly because I'm trying to make sure the medical staff is cool, because one false move, because my mom does not like doctors.
And she's calling everyone out, and
she's calling people names and stuff, and so I have to keep her calm so then the medical staff can do their job, you know, because my mom is sweet as pie, but when she's in spaces that she doesn't like, you know, she can get a little sour. So
it's the generation of being like, what's that for? What's the reason?
Like,
do I have to do that?
And you're right, and I've just gotten her to actually go to appointments and see a doctor and all of that, because before she would say, I am soaked in the blood of Jesus.
Oh, no,
I do not need a doctor. And I'm like, sis,
you sure
you know
about
what?
that?
Like, the doctors are on this earth for a reason, you know. Like, if you don't know what's in your body, how are you going to be able to pray on it? Because, you know, when you're praying, it's supposed to be specific, right? Okay, so
let's get that diagnosis first.
Eventually she got it. And I mean, she's healthy and all, but when you're her age, it's always good to have regular checkups, you know. And I mean, everybody should. So anyway,
I know this is such a shock. I feel like to go into, like, this episode 3 in this story of him in his life, and we're already getting, like, we go from like a ex-boyfriend dying to his mom getting cancer. I was like, yo, this show is, I can see now where everyone's like, it's getting heavier and heavier and heavier.
Yeah, it's heavy.
But it still keeps it pretty light, I think, because he's trying to keep it light, and he's hearing like Mie's voice in his head telling him, like, whenever you're going through something and you're stuck, like, go learn something new, go out, meet new people. And I think that's good advice.
And he takes the advice and goes to a philosophy class, which I guess makes sense, you know, because then philosophy gives you that question, what is life?
Yeah, what is the meaning of the universe, and why are we here?
What is the meaning of the universe? Why are we here?
So at this philosophy class, everyone's introducing themselves. At first, I didn't know what kind of class it was. I thought it was like an LGBT like center, or like a group or something. Because like the first two people are like really queer. They're like, oh, my name is like blah blah blah, and I'm like, you know, I'm bi or I'm pan or something, and the second guy's like, my name's Pro Alpha. The one who said her name is OMG. Yeah, I was like, what is going on? And then it just got more, and then it got more normal after that. But like the first two people were very like queer individuals, and the rest were just like, I'm just here to learn. And then Go Young's like, my name's Blueberry. And he's like, I'm here to like self-reflect. You know, I'm here to learn and self-reflect.
Yeah, and the name Blueberry is so fitting, right? Because look at his book, you know. So, so then the class has kind of already started. They're at least maybe 5 minutes in by this point. And then we see No Young Soo walk in late and has the audacity to...
so to be like, yo, let me get a sip of that? I'd be like, excuse
Young's
you?
Coffee. Yeah, and
I'd be like, do I know you? Apparently, he's
just
been here
past
before.
COVID.
He's like not a new person. at this class. He's taken this class before.
He was way too comfortable to do that, and the way
Go Young just kind of let him.
Right.
And he was like,
and then the way he asked had me scream. Like, I was screaming. Like, wait a minute. You did not just walk into this room, been in here for 30 seconds, and you were late, and then had the audacity to ask to sip somebody's drink that you don't know. How about if Young had a cold? How about if Young had a cut in his mouth and,
excuse you.
You know, was, right, you don't know.
I think it's just rude in general to be like,
it's rude.
Hey.
It's rude. It's nasty. It's uncouth. And I'm kind of like, I'm beginning not to like some of this dude's habits.
I mean, that's what Go
nerve.
Young was already like, oh, let me stay clear of this guy because I don't like this kind of attitude. But of course,
right,
homeboy,
he doing a little too much.
Homeboy afterwards is like, yo, let me treat you to coffee after class, as a thank you. And Young's like, I don't really want to.
But he ended up doing it anyway.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. I didn't know where this was going.
It's a good gesture.
Yeah.
It was a good gesture because you can't be going into somebody's room drinking their coffee like that. And he took a big ass gulp too. So that's why I'm like, I would have been mad. So you better get me a new coffee.
I mean, he came in looking rough.
Least.
I mean, but they did exchange a little queer glance. So at first I was like, oh, queer is queer. But then that turned into...
And the thing is, I've been down this road before.
Oh, has she?
I've been down this road. Oh, I have. We'll get into it a little later, but I have. Because I was like, I mean, not someone literally drinking my coffee like that. That has never happened. And I wouldn't allow that to happen. Like, I would say, you better back up. I wouldn't allow that. But, let's keep
oh my
going
God.
Anyway.
This little coffee, meeting or whatever... It seems pretty awkward. Like, this other dude, Yunsu, is kind of, I don't know, he's like giving nothing back. It's one-sided right here.
Yeah, because Young is asking, like, do you watch shows? What kind of books do you read? He's getting like nothing.
I mean, some people are so like this. Some people are so dry like that at first. You gotta pull it out of them.
Yeah.
But I guess they both connect on.
He starts talking about his mama.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Young-soo talks about his mom being an alcoholic, and then that's where they kind of bond. But I was, when Young-soo was like, we have a lot in common, I was like, that's the only thing y'all have in common.
I thought right there he was going to be alluding to be like, oh, we're kind of similar, as in we're both gay, you know what I mean? Like, we have a lot in common.
But he wasn't giving that.
But no.
He wasn't giving that at all.
But he did say oh, you're cute though, like, I right? He said something about
he did
cute.
say that. He literally was like, because the way the conversation was, he was like, what'd he say? Like, how would you even... Oh, wait. Young-soo said to Young, like, this was your first time in the class. And Young was like, how do you know? And he said, I would remember the cute face.
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, oh, flirting.
I was like, And then in my head, I'm like... See, I've also been down this road before.
That goes back to the conversation about, are Korean men just, very open like that with announcing that other men are attractive or cute. But that felt flirty, though. That felt flirty. There was no reason to add that.
No. I've been down that road before.
My God.
Yes, and that's why I was like, in a way, I'm like, I could see how Young is like, what is going on here?
Yeah, but he's confused.
Even for a Korean, if that's confusing, then just imagine for someone, chocolatey like me.
Oh, not chocolatey.
Being up in there,
He's going to be like, I remember a chocolate face. Like, I'd be like, excuse me. I don't know how I feel if someone said that. I'd be like, excuse me.
Yeah, someone said that to me. I'd be like, ooh, I just want to... You look like a delicious chocolate bar. I'll be like, I am, but you just lost. You're not getting a taste of this.
I'd be like, oh, why you gotta bring chocolate into this?
Right.
I ain't no food. I ain't no snack.
Right.
I am a snack.
Right. Well, I'm a snack to some people. Ooh. But you got to get permission because this snack is not free.
Hey.
Okay.
But later that night.
Anyway.
Young is already I think this shows that he doesn't know how to speak to other gay men in in a non-sexual non-grinder hookup-y way, because he's doesn't even know how to follow up that night. I guess they get each other's numbers, and he's like about to type out like, "You're so fucking sexy," and I'm like, "Excuse you." Like, where's the hi? Nice to meet you today. It was nice meeting, something.
Yeah.
Oh my god. He's about to be
Yeah,
like,
but,
so what that dick do?
Yeah, but then Young-soo texted him. Can you imagine if he did say what that dick do?
Right? He was like, so you free
like,
tonight?
oh,
Yeah.
yeah, but he said he asked him out for pork backbone stew. See, again,
Have you had some pork backbone stew?
I have not, but I've been asked for food. Like, child, there's a lot of this is very, very familiar of someone that I have told you about. I think I've told you about. But we're not talking about my husband. That's not my husband.
Oh
we're
my
not
god.
So, but he seems shady, right?
I mean, right here during this first dinner or whatever, he seems so shady. I think it was like the lighting and like the fact that they're going to these like, they're not fancy restaurants, but they're not like trashy. I think they're just kind of like,
yeah, they're just very average Korean restaurants.
Yeah,
that's it.
And I think like
nothing special.
Yeah, Goyeon is used to like
chill.
more like fancier places.
Yeah, and I mean, you see in the Ajima and the Ajashi in the back, cackling. It's just a very
it seems low
normal,
key.
Low key.
Like maybe it's
and
cheaper.
I mean, I don't mind those places.
I
mean, it's average price. Like, those are the kind of places you go to. You get a good amount of food for $10. You good.
Yeah.
And I like those places. When I was in Korea, those are the places that I prefer to go to. But again, I'm going in as someone that's non-Korean and I'm trying to have a Korean experience, Only time I went to fancy places was when I went with my friend, which, well, we'll talk about him in a little bit.
Oh my god!
Well.
You keep bringing up this mysterious friend. Anyways, yeah,
well,
this
now
man.
I'm bringing up two mysterious friends.
This man he feels shady. Like he's like,
yes,
because Goyeon's like, so what do you do for work? Because this guy's like ranting to him, or not ranting. He's like going off on a spiel about like the history of this pork backbone stew and how it got here, and Goyeon's like, girl, like, let me interrupt. Like, what do you do? Because you going off right now. You're so knowledgeable. What do you do? And he's just like, oh, I'm a, because I'm a creative. Like, he said that in class that he's a creative. And now he says he's just an average worker. I'm like, what does that mean? Like, you work at H&M down the block? You work at the bodega?
Right. It's
like,
so
what do you do?
Weird. That would be so funny if he is working at some Korean bodega.
Right? It'd be like, tell me the tea.
Annyeonghaseyo. Let me tell you everything about.
Oh my god! You work at 7-Eleven? Like, what's good? You work at Olive Young?
Working at Family Mart. Like, what is going on?
And then he points out that he's wearing these like, do you have bad eyesight? Like, is your eyesight really bad? And he's just like pokes the hole as in to show like, oh, like these are fake lenses, like these are just frames to hide like this bruise on his face. And I was
Which
like,
is very smart.
I was like, all right, so that's red flag number
2. Yeah, but a red flag. Like, in my head, I'm like, the beauty of, because Jonathan, you and I are glasses wearers, and, I collect frames. I have a lot of them. But the beauty of wearing glasses is if your eyes are a little too tired, especially considering the line of work that both of us are in, like, outside of the podcast, sometimes our eyes look tired AF. But if you put on glasses, no one can tell. You kind of
cover up the bads, cover up the whatever.
You can cover it up.
I feel like it wouldn't cover up like a whole like punch to the face though, like I don't know.
And I mean, it kind of did. But
it was that poor lighting, and like it was on the other side of his face, so I didn't notice it. But so maybe I guess it does. And poor lighting, sure.
Right. Yeah. But then in my head, I'm like, okay, I noticed the tattoo on his hand. In the
that
class.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that. And then also that punch on his face. The first thing in my head was like, he's either a police detective or he's in the mob.
I thought he was just like a hooligan. You know what I mean? Like he got into a fight or something. Because he doesn't want to say where he works. He's I don't know. He's a little shifty. He's like gobbling the fuck out of this meat right here in front of me.
Yeah, the way he was eating that meat was so.
I was like, Gonya was like, damn, you hungry? He was like, were you fasting? Like, damn, you hungry? I was like, yo.
Yeah, because I'm like, what is going on? It was just, he's so like uncouth,
But he seems really like smart and deep, but it's just like so I don't know. He just seems like a straight man. I guess that's what it gives off. but then there are moments where
Yes.
it feels like he's not. I don't know.
Right. Yes. And see,
But yeah.
this is where, when we get to the cafe where,
Yes.
Young meets with his girlies, right, with his friends, and he shows them Young Soo, and well, he don't really show them. He shows them the conversation
Shows
because
them
there
the
are no pictures of
conversation.
Young Soo, which is also a red flag. Like, you don't have any social media. You don't
There are
have.
people like that.
There's
Yeah,
only
it is.
text
That's
messages.
also very. Yeah, you don't got a LinkedIn, girl. Like, give me something.
No pictures, nothing. Like, a lot of it was very strange, and they were like, they don't think this man is
They're
gay.
like, this
Well,
man's
they were
not gay.
debating. Like, they were like, maybe he is, maybe he's not. But then two of them were like, this man ain't gay, and one of them was like, he might be. I don't
Oh my
know.
god! I mean,
And
what's the quote
see,
they said that I like wrote it down? They were like, "Gays don't talk about the weather and macros too," and I was like, "Yo, maybe they do."
which is so funny because if they had met I have a very gay friend in Korea, and if they met him, he talks about that stuff. He also talks about Chanel and Real Housewives, so
So there's a
I
duality
mean, let's
to
be
it. There's
there's duality to it, okay? But honestly, this man, Young Soo, really reminds me of this mystery man that we were just talking about. I'm not going to say his name on this podcast because he knows I have a
Say their
podcast.
names. Say, is he
So I'm not
listening?
going to
Is he
say it.
listening?
I don't know, and I don't know.
Hey.
But similarly, he would delete his talk. He had an Instagram and he would delete it and he would go back to it. The only way I could communicate with him for a point in time was only via email.
Oh
Like, he didn't
my.
have a lot of pictures of himself, and the pictures and videos that I have of him are those that I took. Okay. So he didn't have any of himself. And then also, similarly, back in the day when I met him my first time in Korea, which was like 13 years ago, my group of friends were also trying to determine if this man was gay or straight because we couldn't tell. I was like, I couldn't tell. And even though I had fine-tuned my gaydar in Korea, he was the only person that to this day, I still can't figure out. And I don't know if I told you, but the first time I went out with this man, it felt like a date. And what's even weirder is the place we went to, which if you watch any Korean drama, you have seen this place, and it is a very popular place for dates.
Oh.
He went ahead and told me it was a popular place for dates.
Oh no! Right there, I would have been like, "What are we? What are we?"
Yeah, and that was just like, I was a little thrown off. And ever since then, I was thrown off. And then there were a lot of other things that we don't have enough time on this podcast to talk
Oh
about.
my God.
But you and I can talk about the next time we have
Yes,
dinner.
yes.
So,
But I mean,
but yeah, it was.
so yeah, you see the similarities in like.
I see the similarities, and I'm with Young on this. I'm like, this man.
I mean, but he still got you
good-looking.
intrigued. He got you intrigued though.
He's intriguing. He's mysterious, but I'm like, I don't know what this man is trying to do, or what he wants to do, or what he wants in the do. I don't know.
Hey.
So,
but I love
yeah.
how the friends are all like, anyway, your taste in men is trash, and I was like,
100%. Yeah, 100%. And I couldn't
100%.
agree more with that. But so far, well, I guess we'll keep going.
We'll keep going. But
So his mama calls and wants to go for a walk outside her hospital room. Ciao.
I love this mom. That's where like right here is like another moment where you see like she's just like Young. Like Go Young is
Yes.
just like his mom. Like they're both like whiny. They're both like very like guilt trippy. They're both like naggy. Like it's so funny.
Right. And the fact that she runs a marriage agency.
I was like, oh, Christian woman running a marriage agency.
And then her
Matchmaking.
marriage was a hot mess.
Oh.
Like, that's kind of sad. Like, Go Young's dad had a second life
Yeah, that is
while
crazy.
he was living with some lady. And mama filed the divorce papers immediately and remained a single mom.
Yeah, I was like catching your dad kind of like playing badminton in the street with some random
In
girl.
front of your damn face.
Right?
In
I'd be
front
like,
of your damn face.
Daddy, what's going on?
I'll be like, it's time to go. Like,
I mean, that's how you know men ain't shit. So,
right, ain't shit.
men ain't shit.
So anyway,
But yeah, she's like, let me know. Like, oh my god, marriage is everything. It will solve all your problems. Like, let me know. I'll match you with someone. And he's like, ugh. And Go Young's like, ugh, leave me alone. Like,
for real, especially since marriage didn't solve her problems.
yeah, I mean, part of me is like, oh yeah, she still, I don't know if she knows that he's gay, and she's like, let me just set you up with someone, like, it'll fits your life. Or if she's just like in denial, or she doesn't know and she's just like, my son is just a loner, he needs a girl. I don't know.
I don't think she knows, or she's in denial.
Yeah, it has to be like an in denial kind of.
Right.
And this is her way of like pushing like the straightness onto him by being like, I'll set you up with someone.
So later he meets up with Young-soo to play futsal, which actually is not soccer, but similar to it.
Yeah, I was like, he said futsal earlier, that's how he got the bruise. And I was like, but they're playing soccer. But
yeah,
it's not
similar
it's like
to
a
soccer, but
subset
it's
of
not
soccer?
soccer.
What is it?
It's a different kind of thing. You know how you kind of have like rugby that kind of looks like football, like American football, but it's not?
Yeah.
That's what this is like.
So
it looks like soccer, but it's not.
It's adjacent to soccer. How does it work? Have you played it before?
No, but I did look it up.
Oh my god! I'm like, oh, she knows firsthand. No.
Yeah, I did look it up. You know, but it's. I would say if people go ahead and Google and gargle, futsal.
So it's smaller than a regular soccer match. Football for outside of the U.S. football, floor football. I don't know.
Yeah,
fast paced, more intense.
Yeah,
smaller size. All right. Interesting.
So, anywho, Young gets hit in the face with the ball playing goalie.
Of course.
Honestly, I thought that was kind of cute that he was playing goalie. I'm like, sir, you don't even really play sports like that, so that's a little wild.
I know, right? But why are you putting the newbie on goalie? Like that's
what you should have done was just sat on the side and watched the game and just be a little cheerleader. Right? That's what you should have done. You know. But then let me tell you something. First of all, you already know, Jonathan, I love a man with a natural tan. Ooh, do I love a natural tan?
He was built. I was like, ooh, the body.
He had a natural tan. Like he was a dark Korean. Okay,
oh my god.
And I love. He wasn't
that dark. He was not that dark.
Yeah, but I mean, in Korean standards, he was dark.
Oh my god.
So, and I was like, baby. And then when you saw that back,
yeah, we got this back tattoo.
I think the sides of my lips were quivering.
Oh my god!
And there was a little piece of drool that just came down. I was like,
That was you and Go Young though. Y'all were both drooling.
Okay, I know Go Young wanted to go over there and be like, let me wipe that sweat off his back with my bare hands.
He wanted to hug that little Christmas tree. He wanted to hug that.
He wanted to do more than hug the Christmas tree. Ooh. Like I could tell.
Maybe he does later anyway, but.
But yeah, but then he gets invited to have drinks with
all these straight men.
Young-soo and he was like no, and honestly, no, because all that's gonna be is just. I mean, his face was like no, I don't want to. I just got hit with the ball. Like, come on. Right, and if I was Go Young, would I have gone? Probably.
Ooh.
But then that would be a mess. Like, because they're all going to be sweating and loud and drink. And I'm just going to be sitting there looking.
I mean, Go Young can drink too, but I guess he was...
It's a different environment.
He was looking for like a one-on-one. He was looking for Young-soo to kind of take care of him after just getting hit with his ball.
Right.
And homeboy was just like, all right, bye. So he was like sad at home.
And I think he low-key either wanted, not only that, like, oh, come, you know what, let's just go home. It was more, or he also kind of wanted, like, oh, like, to be begged to be invited as well, too.
Yeah, like, you really want me to be there, but
right.
he was kind of just indifferent to anything. He was like, all right.
Yeah. Um, the man fine though, so we gonna give him that, especially that back.
I
Okay.
mean, that's
So
why
anyway,
Go Young was at home drawing that tattoo. He's stuck on this man.
mm-hmm. Mm-mm-mm.
Uh-uh.
Just like a tattoo.
Oh my
Anyway.
god. Anyways, but his girl, his gaggle of gays, hit him up, and they're like,
Yes.
"Girl, are you at home? Cause we're clubbing. Come out." And he's like, "I guess I'll go clubbing."
Yeah.
And it already shows him. It cuts to him like dancing in the club with some shirtless man. The friends are like, "Oh, you being messy. Let me pull you aside."
Exactly.
And
That's what good friends do.
But he orders
Right.
like 8 shots and like takes 3 of them right there. I'm like, yo, he is.
Yeah, back to back. That is.
He's trying to get fucked up tonight in every
Yeah,
single way.
And yeah, and in my head, I'm like, you are really, this man is really getting your brain all out of sorts. Like, he got you confused. He got you twisted. Okay.
It's what, yeah, it's giving him like writing inspiration, but also like,
Right.
it's playing with his heart.
Anxiety.
Yeah. He's,
You know,
to feel those feelings. Again.
Who was that 90s boy group that said, "Quit playing games with my heart"? Who was that?
Girl.
You remember them?
Am I supposed to know?
Yes, you should. I know you know those 90s, early 2000s boy bands. Was that NSYNC? Or was that Backstreet Boys? Who was
It's
it?
either one of those two. Those are the two biggest.
Or
of the
98
time.
Degrees? Or who? I don't know.
Back to Men. What was the other one?
It wasn't Boys to
Boyz
Men.
II Men.
It wasn't them. Boys to Men was a little earlier, so, but it wasn't them. Anyway, they do that full choreo on the dance floor to that Tiara song.
Yeah, and
Same
Steven was
robot
like
song.
telling me, he was like, "It's not Kara, it's Tiara," and I was like, "Ooh." I was like, I don't know old gen K-pop. Sorry, y'all. I'm a newbie.
Yeah, I remember Tiara. I didn't really listen to them like that, but I remember them. So,
yeah, but it's that like robot song, and they're doing full choreo again. It was so cute. I love that moment.
right. With the shirtless man.
Hey, right? The shirtless man was getting it. I thought he was gonna take him home, but no, he ends up like home alone.
Right. But then the next day, mama again.
She's like, "Oh my god, where's my son? Oh my god, I'm
Right,
dying in the
doing the
hospital, and he's not here
And
with
he's
me."
low-key hungover. He's trying to have his little ice Americano. Like, he barely awake, you know. And
She's like, "I'm withering away," as she's like doing her makeup in the hospital. It's perfectly fine. She's like, "I'm withering away. The doctor says I'm dying. Oh my god, where's my son?"
yeah, she's doing the utmost.
I mean, part of me is
doing
like,
too
is she
much.
actually dying? Or I think she's just still undergoing treatments. Like, she seems fine. Like,
Yeah, I think she's undergoing treatment.
like she's
but
still like it's nothing's terminal yet, but she's still like dragging it out, as in like, oh my god, I'm all alone here.
I think it's a ploy. Like, she's using her illness as a ploy for something. So
I mean, they
we'll
only
see.
have each other since, I guess, he's an only child and she's a single mother. They've only had each other.
Right. But of course, he gets to the hospital. She is upright in the hospital bed, doing work, out here trying to match make, and still doing the most. And then she does that whole damn prayer, and I'm like, sis, stop,
Not praying.
stop it, stop.
It's a shared room too. I know the neighbors are like, oh, this lady.
They're probably tired of her. They're like, when is she going to check out?
Yo.
Like, for real. Like, can you please discharge this lady? Okay. So then Young Soo, the next or later that day, I think it's later the day or the next day, after the philosophy class, Young Soo invites Young to dinner, and Young Soo is like, "Oh, let's have chicken soup," and Young is like, "No."
He's like, "Boy, it is Halloween. Can we do something fun?"
It's Halloween. Yeah, let's go do something fun. And they go to some very loud.
It looks like
place.
it was like a club. Well, not a club, but like a bar.
It looks like a bar/restaurant that was just loud.
Yeah, but it didn't seem like queer or gay. It just seemed like a regular bar that was playing like K-pop loudly.
Yeah, and to me, that's just not I'm with Youngsu on this. That's
No,
not the
it's
kind of space I like.
Halloween. You can have a
I
little
don't.
chicken and a beer at a bar.
I'm not saying that we need to do,
He's not
do
saying
the chicken soup
karaoke.
either. Yeah, but it's like if I'm going to go out with someone, I want to have a conversation. I want to hear the person across from me.
They
If I
go
can't
out.
hear them, what's the point of me being
They
there?
go out all the
So
time. He wants to change a pace, so he's like, I always go with you to
what he
your
should have
places.
done,
Like, I want something
what
for
he
me.
should have done, is gone to a damn movie theater to watch a horror movie.
You ain't having a conversation during a movie theater either, so
but you conversating with bodies.
excuse
Because it's
you.
dark in there. It's dark in there. People screaming, so they're not paying attention to you.
Oh my god.
See, then he would have found out for sure. If this man is down or not.
You could have fondled some bodies at the club too while eating your little chicken.
No, that man was not gonna fondle nothing. He was so uncomfortable.
I know
Youngsu was so uncomfortable in that place.
I don't know
but
if
in
this
a movie
was
theater,
this
it's
felt
a little more neutral.
this felt like another like I don't know if he was uncomfortable because it felt kind of queer in the environment, even though it didn't. Like there was women there. There was
I don't
men
think
there.
it was queer. I think it was just loud.
He was
and
just
there
like,
was just too
ugh.
much going on.
I know, but you can't
was too
take a
much
photo.
sensory.
He already smacked the Polaroid out of his face. So I was like, "Are you DL? Like, why are you smacking photos? What's going on?"
Yeah, I was a little kind of concerned with that too. I'm like, okay, I get you're not comfortable
But
in
you're
that
doing the
environment
most.
because I wouldn't be either. But you're also doing a little too much. Like, you need to calm that down, you know. But then I'm like, maybe they not a match, Maybe.
Maybe they. I mean, I still don't feel like they're a match. But I mean,
But
Go Young is
also-
like fine. Like I'll leave. Like you don't. I'll stop bothering you. And
Right.
Youngsu like chases after him, and they end up.
This
at
was
the
giving me
chicken place.
Namkyu kind of vibes.
A little bit of like they don't.
A little bit, not
click.
like full blown Namkyu being clingy, but it was given a little bit of that.
I mean, but this time, Young is trying. He's putting in the effort. He's saying, "You've shown me your side of things. Like, let me show you my side. I
Right.
enjoy places like this, But
Yeah.
if this is a deal breaker, then bye.
Yes.
But
But then
I guess
we keep
yeah,
watching.
they don't go to chicken soup. They go to like a fish place, right?
Right. They go to a fish place. They're drinking soju. It's outdoors. It's a little more low key.
It's another like dark spot, like.
Yeah, but at least it's like kind of outside and you can see the people in costumes passing by. So it's, okay, a little more chill. They can still have a conversation. What I thought was cute though, because they're having this whole conversation about the fish and all of that, because I don't know why Youngsu sometimes a little too deep. Like,
Yeah, that's when like he'll like
I'm like,
suddenly
it's just
go
some
into
damn fish.
like, oh, like this fish came from blah blah blah. He had this whole spiel of like, you're tasting this fish, and you know what else you're tasting? The universe, like.
and I'm like,
And also, you are the
okay.
universe, so like the universe is tasting itself, and I'm like, all right, we are getting too philosophical after class. Like, I just want to relax and
Right,
take a
you're
shot.
doing the most.
But
And
I don't know,
then
Young is kind of intrigued, but he's kind of like he's
He
eating it
is.
up. He's eating it up a little bit.
literally,
Or
and then Young
yeah.
goes like, I'm like a chewy rockfish.
Hey,
Yeah, and I was
Very
like, okay,
cute.
flirt. I see what you doing. You trying to get chewed out.
Ooh.
I see what you doing. I see it.
he's like,
And
no, you a
then-
flounder.
Yeah,
I
and
see
he's
right
like,
through
I
you.
like the universe that is you. And I was like, ooh. I was like, ooh. And then they kiss and ooh.
I was like, oh, he
Ah.
reaches over the table right there out in public.
Out in public. So it wasn't that he was DL. That's when we realized that environment was just not his. It was just not what he wanted to be in.
I guess,
And
but
we
there
know
needs to
that
be a
Young
compromise.
is right, and we know Young likes to be out in the club doing choreographed dances,
Hey, as he
drinking.
should. He seems so fun.
Yeah,
I would
and that's-
love to hang out with her. Love to hang out.
He's someone I would hang out with, not someone I would date.
I would do both.
I no, because I'm someone like, I'm home at 11 o'clock. I have my BLs on.
All
I'm in my
right.
pajamas. I showered.
That don't gotta
and
be
I'm
every
being
night.
Yes, it does. And I'm being very demure and very mindful, and that's it. So
Well, they were demure and mindful when they were clapping cheats in the bed. Like we cut to them already. Poist coital.
Coital engagement.
And Goyan's like, damn, that shit was good. Like
He was rocked.
he said, how long has
He
it
was-
been for you? Cause that shit was fire.
Right.
And
He
dude
was
doesn't really
rocked.
answer. He doesn't really
Yeah, and yeah, the fact that he didn't answer was also a little shady.
I mean, I don't know. Young is already like, all right, now I like you. He's throwing himself on him.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, what's this tattoo? And he's like, oh, this is a tree of life. And just ties it all back
So
to
something to the universe again.
Yeah, it ties it all back to his like really, I don't know, existential.
This man is
thinking.
from outer space. He's an alien.
I mean, part of me is like, I still feel like this guy is, you know, like this show, how I've been relating it to like Sets in the City, because it is kind of Sets in the City like, and there are like men that carry dates throughout the series, and like this honestly just feels like one of those men that she's like, will go on for a little bit with, but she's like, this guy is, I don't know, she'll eventually break it off because he's just like, I don't know, not, they don't click. And I can see it here. They're like, he's like, he likes him. He's intrigued by him. He's like, this dude's so like raw and philosophical, and he's analytical.
Definitely raw.
Oh,
definitely raw.
But I don't know how much longer you can take all that talk, because I feel like he's been cutting him off every once in a while. He'll be like, all right, enough of that. And he'll be really feely with him. I don't know. The next scene we see them in is they're like at Young Soo's place, and they're all like very coupley.
Oh wait! Before we get to that, remember he has to go back to the hospital, and because that was after the first night. Remember, he goes to the hospital. Mom,
of course,
is being doing whatever she does, and but Young is there like giggling to himself, nibbling on his thumb like a little girl that's deep in love, you know. I was like, damn, his shit was rocked for him to be acting like that.
Maybe it's been a minute for him. I think this, you know, it's been a minute since he's had like something more than just a hookup.
Right. So this has been pretty good. There's a connection, you know. So kind of then he goes back to his place, and they're being so domestic.
Very domestic. I mean,
yes, and it definitely made me think of that made me think of my husband that's not my husband.
And that's what's happening here. That's his husband that's not his husband.
Right. Okay.
I hope the friends get to meet this man. I want to see their opinion, because they might just be like, girl, cut the crap with all this talk. Like, I don't know. It sounds like I'm shitting on this man, but I don't know. I just feel like there's something underneath, like he's hiding something underneath all that sweet talk, all that fancy talk.
But you know what, in a weird way, he's kind of...
But he's fine.
Low-key my type.
Ooh.
Like, he's fine.
Of course he is.
He's pretty
type,
chill.
You know? He's an older man, which is like, okay, going on another older man.
I mean, I'm older too, so I guess that works, you know, for me. And then, you know, and he has an old school vibe to him. And I was like, I'm low-key kind of jealous of Young, because this man is checking off some boxes. But then, you know, as he has said several times today, there's just something about
there's
him.
Little red flags
there's
popping
something,
up that I'm not quite sure we should be overlooking, you know?
Yeah. And I'm scared and worried that
I'm just worried for my
in
baby.
the next couple of episodes, these red flags are going to pop out, and it's going to be an entire mess. And that's my worry. Yeah. But it was a good episode, right?
It was a really good episode. I mean, I love the way it ended with like their dancing, swaying to this music.
Yes.
It was really beautiful. And I know it was probably very healing for Go Young after all that he's been through with his mom, with the ex-boyfriend, even with Mie. Like, he just needed like a new friend, a new special person for him.
Yeah, he needed a place where he could be comfortable. Mm-hmm. You know, a place where he could be a little bit more of himself, I guess, you know, or relax.
Yeah.
You're like, he can still go out to the club and throw his ass in a circle with his friends, you know. That's why it's important to have friends. You know, that's why it's important.
I mean, that's what he was trying to do with this philosophy class. He was trying to make friends, and it turned out he found another relationship, and maybe that's even better. I don't know.
Maybe. Well, I guess We'll see. We'll keep watching. We'll see what happens. We'll see who happens, what happens, the when,
we'll
and the
see.
how.
I'm praying this show doesn't get any darker. I'm scared.
I think it's going to, because I think both of us are we're thinking something is off, and if we're both thinking something's off, we're usually right.
I've
and
seen
it's not
too
gonna
many
go
shows
well.
to know that something's gonna happen. I'm scared.
Something's gonna happen, and then we're both gonna be very upset.
The show's
And
gonna
we're
make
gonna
me
be
cry. I know it.
we're either gonna cry and or be pissed off and start cussing out people on the show as if we've known them for the past 30 years.
Oh, Goyun's gonna be my baby by the end of the show. I'm gonna be like, that's my son, and I'm gonna be cussing him out for his bad decisions.
Yes.
For sure.
Or cussing out Youngsu if he ends up being in the mob or something.
Not in the
or
mob.
or a secret agent or whatever he is, or we're gonna cuss them both out. We'll find out. We'll see what happens.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. And that's it for this bonus episode of RyCanTopMyKnee. Cap your knee in the universe.
All right. Not cap your knee. I hope the Goyang in your life dances on your knee.
Oh, that's a lap dance.
Hey, and I want that. Get into it. Anyway, goodbye.
Yes, goodbye.